Hi, everyone. This is Suzanne Wagner. I'm kind of playing with another chapter in my book. And so it's been a long morning trying to put this particular sequence together. And so there's probably a lot of editing that has to go into it, but you guys are getting the first taste of this particular chapter. So I hope you enjoy it. This chapter is called, What Is It Like to Dance, Queen of the Willies? People ask what it feels like to be on a stage dancing to an orchestra, feeling the bright spotlights shining down, following me as I moved about. They ask because they can feel something deep inside, calling to them, calling to know and understand something more. They sense that I hold some mystery and great secret. They can see it as it shines out of my eyes. They can feel it, and they want to know and understand this elusive thing that they sense. That spotlight still shines out my eyes. It will never go away, because my heart fully captured many moments that I stood on stages with much brighter stars than myself. And I could not help but to collect some of the light, and it ignited other deeper places inside me that began to burn. They still burn. It was crystal clear that I was not the only person upon which that spotlight shone on that stage in that moment. That light appeared in the physical dimensions, but it was much more than that. It was a light outside this dimension that was only drawn to this place by the force of love that was so large that it managed to captivate a stage for a moment in time. The love of the audience to ballet, the story, the beauty, and the dancers contributed to that magnetic pull that brought the light in. The love of the dancers for their art and their dedication to that art was the key in that door for the light to burn even more forcefully and with a broad and inclusive beam. It was the power of many hearts that caught on fire a long time ago. Such passions must be sparked, but then, if they are lovingly kindled, they burn through the fears and egos to allow souls to become the phoenix that they always were. Dancing is a dream that was given life and became form. Ballet is a mysterious pathway lined with the stones of perfection. Ballet then painted the human emotions that long to be expressed on them. Ballet is an energy that sculpts the body into a living, breathing, and moving art. It is one thing to create art. It is quite another to become the art. Dancing with Rudolf Nureyev and Evdokimova that first night as Queen of the Willies in Berlin was an invitation to their dance. It was, after all, their stage. The people had come to see them. But I got to bear witness to their artistic greatness. I got to feel into the flows and patterns that they created. I got to walk in the energy flows that they laid as pathways for me or anyone who wished to feel into the flow and follow if they could. As I watched the virtuosity of Ava's mad scene at the beginning of the first act of Giselle, at the end of the first act of Giselle, and see the fragile light inside a young girl break her heart, my heart broke as well. Her vulnerability and honest embodiment of the emotions that humanity does not want to experience, much less express, created a space of permission for me to tell myself the truth of my own broken heart that had been denied for too long. As Rudy embodied the character of Albrecht, using his Russian intensity and arrogant playfulness, the obvious humor of the juxtaposition became clear. Here was Rudolf Nureyev, who in real life was the son of a poor farmer. Now, on this stage, he is the reigning king in the ballet world. Tonight he is pretending he is a prince that was pretending to be a peasant. I, too, was a peasant, middle class, pretending to be a queen of the Willies. I am pretending to be an arrogant queen who is in control when I feel my own deep insecurity and longing to be more and be stronger. Ballet is wonderful because as dancers, we get to become what we think we are not, I look at Nureyev and I see the selfishness of my own youthful mischievousness. I begin to see how my intense self-focus could accidentally hurt others. I began to see that I was all of these characters in this ballet. I am a young girl with a broken heart, Giselle. I have been selfish, mischievous, and arrogant younger person who believed my actions could not have consequences that might have hurt others, like Albrecht. I am the jealous and attachment-driven Hilarion who desires to be loved, but often felt unloved and rejected by those that I loved the most. I begin to see that I am all of the parts of this ballet. Tonight, I am to be the evil queen in The Queen of the Willis and Myrtha. This coveted role had long been considered a gift to any ballerina because of its tremendous technical difficulty and its confrontative, frightening character. Myrtha has a cold, calculating, and demeaning cruelty that she uses to control her army of vengeful maidens against the men of the world who do not value the precious gifts of love offered by young women. She plans on attacking and killing all the men who she perceived abused the most precious gift any woman can offer, devotion. As the music lifts in a crescendo, the baton of the conductor plays the last notes of music, then the curtain comes down on the first act. I hear the applause that move into bravos, and I am carried by a wave of truth that the human condition is fraught with moments of pain and peril. I understood that all beauty is fleeting and fragile in this domain. I could see that all my own moments when I was broken I thought that I could never rise again. I saw that even at the time of great loss, souls still reach for redemption. That redemption is always to follow the love. Myrtha was showing me the monster that lived inside my heart that could not forgive callousness and could not let go of upsets in my past. Dancing Myrtha had become a personal healing journey for me to admit where I am merciless with others, but mostly to myself. She is the opposite of everything that Giselle embodies. Believe it or not, this ballet was inspired by a poem by Victor Hugo, Fantôme, or Ghosts, in 1828. Then, and this is from Victor Hugo, then trembling, she leads him to the fatal dance, to the ethereal chorus in the fluttering shadow. And on the gray horizon, the moon is wide and pale, and the rainbow nights dyed with the opal reflection, the cloud with silver fringes. Thank you, Victor Hugo. There had always been a question in my mind as to why Myrtha was a queen. Was she a real queen in life that had been tricked and betrayed in love and that had died in suicide? Or was she the queen because she had the most rage and anger, and that is why she was given the power to control the suffering and fates of others? Was she a queen of karma, coming back around to become a vengeful angel for all those who had suffered? I wondered if perhaps she had, in a fit of rage, cursed the man who had broken her heart, and in his death, the curse ricocheted back on her, making her cursed to walk the earth endlessly angry and still seeking vengeance. I stand there backstage holding the flowers in either hand, and I realize with sudden awareness that I am carrying the flower myrtle, which are twigs that cause us to remember and to never forget. I see now the connection to the name Myrtha and the myrtle twigs that I am using to call the other Willies from their graves. I am calling them to remember and to never forget. Myrtha is a character that had to me embodied powerful grace, but it had a masculine quality that is courageous and determined. I realize that I am this character. Nureyev once told me how Maya Plesitskaya only performed Myrtha, never Giselle. Her dancing was the embodiment of power and precision in her generation. The story was that she had suffered a tremendous heartbreak before dancing this role, and so this role is attached to her own pain at that time. In Giselle, love and forgiveness are her guiding stars. Love is the answer to all her questions. Love is varied and vast. The Giselle in me knows this to be true. My love of ballet has led me here, and I know that in this moment that love will never leave my soul, because the love that we feel inside lasts forever. That type of love lasts through time and space. It is a magnet that reaches out an invisible hand to move us towards something that we are and have always been. So much inside of me is coming together all at once. I am feeling as if enormous pieces of myself are finally breaking free and finally fitting into place. As I stand in the wings warming up, my life is beginning to make sense. As I am watching these dancers, my family, move with such practiced grace, I am honored to be among the talented few that get to experience this moment. I am humbled and happy. I am honored to do what and do not want to waste one breath without attempting to feel it thoroughly. This ballet Giselle shows our best and worst selves. In a flash of insight from those bright lights and stars dancing on stage, I am beginning to understand that I am all the complex characters that dance inside my mind. Now it was going to be my moment to dance. Mirtha sets the tone and mood for the second act of Giselle. She is a ghost, after all. She is spooky and embodies the control and power that I so desperately want to feel in my life. She asks me to be unyielding and bent on the destruction of destroying Albrecht. I intend to do her bidding. To embody her fully will require me to find those places inside that now realize that I have been fearing to find. I don't like to see myself as a hateful person. She would beg to differ. I do not see myself as unrelenting, but she demands me to have no pity on Albrecht. I go downstairs to put on my costume and look at who I am becoming in the mirror. I do not like what I see, and that is good. The self-conscious insecurity of Suzanne is somewhere else. In her place is the reflection of my years of determination disguised as sweetness are finally becoming unveiled. I see in my eyes the haunted look of a hunter seeking to find something to feed upon. She seeks to find something that will satisfy this craving inside. I am a hungry ghost, desperate to inflict pain on those that I have deemed deserve my wrath. The costume is tight, with the boning in the bodice, perfect for the mood of this character's cold demeanor. She is dead, after all. Who needs to breathe? My body is covered with white pancake that goes from my face down my neck and back and down my arms and hands. It reflects the ghostly quality that I am to embody. The white makeup accentuates the thinness of my arms and the bony quality of my collarbone and upper ribs. I look like a corpse beginning to rot. I look perfect. I put my pointe shoes on and I feel how oddly comfortable it is to be standing, walking, and balancing on my toes. I feel of the earth and yet not. I go upstairs to the stage and begin warming up with the jump sequence to get my legs warm. I am ready to leap higher than I ever have done before. I intend to fly. I practice some of the balances and the penché that this character is required to do to the right and to the left, a difficult step sequence because of the roundedness of the tip in the pointe shoes. It makes my foot want to wobble, but Mirtha commands that my foot stay still and precise while I lean forward with my arms as a counterbalance to stabilize this tricky move. Rudy comes in, dragging his cape in tow, casual and at ease. He is not at all feeling what I am feeling. I can see that I need to relax a bit. While my character is very serious, I do need to allow the fluidity to still move through my body. So I start to jump lightly and shake my arms and legs to get rid of the nervousness and lessen the hold that Mirtha has on my mind. He is still focused, but you can tell he has done this role 100 times on the greatest stages of the world. To him, this is just another day at the office. This is my first time, and it matters a lot to me. I tell myself that I need to relax and calm down, but my character is not calm, nor does she seem to want to calm down. Adrenaline is surging, and I am having a slight battle going on inside. I acknowledge to the queen inside of me that she will ultimately win, but I just want to be here to fully feel and remember this moment. At least she agrees on that point. The audience gets quiet. The mist is filling the stage from the dry ice machines as the conductor comes in, and I begin to hear the customary applause of the audience as he asks the audience to acknowledge the orchestra. Then the overture begins. At the proper moment, the curtain rises to a dark forest scene, foreboding and ghostly. Hilarion comes in with wildflowers in his hand, and he is searching for Giselle's grave. He is lost and feeling guilty for his jealousy that contributed to Giselle's death. Suddenly he feels that there is something very spooky about this forest and becomes frightened by the sights and sounds. Then he runs off into the darkness. This is my cue. I have a veil over my head to signify that I am rising from the grave. I bourrée from the back of the stage left to the top of stage right. This is a step that makes a ballerina seem to float across the mist, and my feet are almost hidden in the dry ice fog. As I go out, I tell myself I am the embodiment of a ghostly apparition gliding in the air. I am not of this world. As I go off stage right, I remove the veil and return with the sprigs of myrtle in my hands to consecrate the space to summon the other Willies to the space to eventually welcome our newest member, Giselle, into the flock of Willies. I am alone and in command of the stage. All are looking right at me. I am a moving embodiment of living art tonight. I alone am here to consecrate this space and to bring others into this very special moment of dance. Mirtha is creating a space for me to step into. She is inviting me into her dance and showing the power and control that such moment requires to make magic happen. The other dancers rise from their graves and bow to me. Without acknowledging their allegiance, they remove their veils and also begin to dance. We are dancing for a life lost. We are dancing for a love lost. We are dancing because dance is the only love that will never leave us. As the music increases, my dancing becomes a series of powerful leaps and complicated jumps. I am flying on the stage. I feel the power surging through me. I feel connected to all the other dancers and know that in our hearts we are all one. I am in heaven in this dark and foreboding place. I am a light in the darkness, but I am about to cause more suffering and pain. I call to the spirit of Giselle to rise up from the grave. Slowly, like a soft spreading mist, she comes out of the grave to stand and bows at my feet. I grasp her veil and quickly pull it off her head, commanding her to dance. Instantly, she begins spinning rapidly in a brilliant display of virtuosity and skill. She leaps and spins out into the forest, her last steps before she leaves the stage, an effortless, suspended balance after a rapid chain of turns. Feeling as if I have completed the task to free the spirit of Giselle, I leave the stage and get a moment to breathe and regroup. Now is Nureyev's classic moment. Albrecht comes in with a classically etched face of grief, wrapped with his cloak as if he is trying to keep warm in this cold place of death, carrying lilies for the grave of Giselle. The lilies are the symbols of innocence and true love. Nureyev's entrance is the epitome of his ability to portray a character. The depth of his sorrow calls to the soul of Giselle, and she comes to him softly. He at first does not notice her, but then feels her presence before he sees her. He asks for forgiveness, and she gives it to him, and they go off into the forest. Hilarion comes in, trapped by the Willies, and I have him thrown into the lake to drown. The Willies find Albrecht and intend the same gruesome ending, but Giselle pleads for the life of Albrecht, and instead he is required by Mirtha to dance until his death. I love this point in the theater because I am in the corner, but all my hard dancing is now complete for the evening, and I get to be the side watching these amazing dancers dance together. They are a lovely embodiment of grace, goodness, passion, and pain. The first two are Eva to a T. The latter are Nureyev. Because Giselle loves him, she dances with him to give him strength and incentive to the power with the power of her love. With her help, Albrecht is able to survive until dawn. That is when the power and spell of Mirtha is finally broken, and all the Willies are forced by the power of the light to go back into their caves. I become the last person to beret off the stage, leaving an almost dead Albrecht with the relieved Giselle. Then Giselle and Albrecht say goodbye, realizing that what they had was true love. That finally frees Giselle from being a Willie and moves her soul into the light. Albrecht, realizing what he has lost, picks up the flowers she has given him at the end and collapses, finally understanding that true love is forgiveness and that true love conquers all. The curtain comes down on the pained expression on Nureyev's classically etched countenance. Bravos erupt from the audience. They have loved it. Nureyev and Eva were spectacular. I am so filled with personal pride for that performance. I believed I had done the best I could under the circumstances. I am happy and content. The curtain opens to the corps de ballet, and they take their bow and step back. Hilarion and the mother of Giselle come out, and they take a bow. The peasant pas de deux come out and take a bow. This is now my moment. I come out from the back of the stage and run forward to take my bow. I am hearing bravos, and I am also deeply grateful and humbled, and I step back. Then Nureyev and Eva come out together. Now there is a standing ovation from the audience. Eva is always graceful and clearly a loving, kind embodiment of her character, Giselle. Rudy walks and moves like the king he has become through his determination and talent. He commands the stage and the attention. Eva is so even in her temperament. She does not take any offense in any way. She is so willing to let and allow Rudy to carry the moment. Together we bow again, and the curtain comes down on an amazing moment for me in the audience. I take a curtain call with the stage crew. The curtain is lifted up from behind, and the dancers get to go out in front of the curtain to bow. Then I am complete for this amazing night of magic. I go to my dressing room and change. I am exhausted and so very pleased. I look at the 75 lilies in my dressing room and the card, and I don't want to ever forget this moment. As I wipe off the stage makeup with cold cream and take my hair down, I begin to realize how tired I am. Because the stage makeup, I take a shower to remove it all, and as the women's and men's dressing rooms are on different floors, I walk down the hall in my towel to my dressing room. With the makeup off, I just see Suzanne again. But a more mature Suzanne is staring back at me. A hint of Mirtha is still behind my eyes, and I tell her, thank you. Then I thank all the ballerinas that danced this character before me, and then I thank all the ghosts that walked the haunted hallways of this theater. I know that I am not alone. I know that without all their help and support, I would not have come this far, this fast. I say a silent prayer to my teachers in Dallas and SAB. What a wonderful life this is. What a wonderful thing was this moment in time. I get dressed and go out the door to meet my mother, knowing before I see her that she is going to be beaming with pride. I know what this moment has meant to me and to her. I breathe a sigh of relief because I know how I have won this battle. Then I thank my own inner child for gifting me this dream, believing in that dream, and dedicating her life to becoming that dream. Thanks, everyone.